Howdy YouTube folks, it's your girl Ellen making another video. I thought I would do a video on, I don't believe I've done one on this radio yet, so I thought I would do a video on this radio. This is a radio, hopefully you can see it. It's kind of dark in this room. I'm going to try to make the lighting a little bit more prominent, but this is my, I believe it's 1940s. I forget what I paid for this one. Somewhere around the $50 range. Radiola at an antique place. This is one of the many radios I will probably never sell once I get it serviced. Obviously, I'm going to keep it along with another one. And that's why I say many, because I have two other ones. And one of them's down here, but along with another one that's down here, I should say. And this one's pretty cool. I will show you the back of it, and I will show you all what I think will need to be done in order to make this radio. So for one, I've got it all zip tied to here, or twist tied, I should say, with a twist bag tie. But I have the cord head for this, but this cord will need to be replaced. I'll probably end up replacing the cord head. I believe it's in here with it, or it was. Yeah, it's right there. Let's see if I can dig that out. I think that's a cool piece. Yes, I could probably use this original cord head, but I think if I get a new one, I'm just going to replace this. This is a cool Bakelite style cord head. It's missing the paper insert that all of these had that would cover these holes right here. I forget if it was with the radio. It may have been, and I may have lost it. That's not an end of the world big deal. Like I said, this cord head will probably be replaced. I could be wrong, and that could just be casting, but right there where you see where it's worn, I believe there was another part to this cord head that is busted off, and you can see where the plastic is. Also why I wouldn't mind replacing it anyways. I believe there was a snout that went out on the end of it. That was like a long tubular thing that kind of just covered the cord. So yeah, but I've kept this one around just because, and I may keep this around as a decorator item, or you know, to sit alongside with the radio, so people will know that that was the original cord head. I think this is also going to need a paper filter capacitor. As you can see from the condition of the cord, and I previously took the cord head off of it. This radio, I've never plugged it in to see obvious reasons. This cord is in bad condition. Very frayed. And even if I was going to sell this radio as a working radio, which I feel would bring up the value, say if I was going to, I would replace that anyways. But yeah, this one will never be sold. I think it's a really cool piece. This is a Radiola. This is the model 61-8 Radiola. Yeah, 61-8. This is the spec on it. This is the location of the tubes and all the different information on it. Again, I believe this to be 1940s. This is cool. If I ever have the house that I desire to live in, this is going to be one of the radios that'll either be in the kitchen, like the old school days where they had it on top of the fridge, but I highly doubt that, because I don't think I'm going to do that. But, you know, like within that area, or like in a dining room or some area like that, or like in a hallway somewhere where there's a chair where I can accent it. And then I have a wood cabinet one that's sitting over here that I'll do a video on, because I can't remember if I did or not, or I'll look back to see if I did, because quite honestly I can't remember if I did a video on this. But look for update videos on this radio and me getting it working. A recent new subscriber viewer has mentioned how they hope to someday soon see me do some more in-depth repairs on radios, and And please bear with me. I will be doing that, especially on this one, because this is one I plan on making working for my own use. But some of them I will probably not do as in-depth if I can sell them really quick. The ones that I'm going to sell, like the Transoceanic, just because it is, just to clarify, just because it might sell, but who knows, if it doesn't sell right off or at all, and I have to readjust my pricing on my listing of what I'm asking for both of them, you might see a video on that. And who knows, down the line, if I don't sell it, I might change my mind. Or down the line, if I have a possibility to sell it, I might change my mind and decide to keep this one, because it would be good in my ham radio collection, this Transoceanic. And especially if I can't sell it, obviously I'm going to keep it no matter what in that scenario. But then I might end up not trying to sell it ever again and just hang on to it. But and I may also at some point, if I'm not ever able to sell this right off, and I can get this one more serviced when I have more time to do it, I may end up also eventually building that second one, which is down there, and some of the parts over there and over there, just because. But if I do build that one, I'm probably most likely going to have to get a new speaker for it, obviously, a filter capacitor, and obviously a, Destructo cat over here. Sorry. She likes to climb on my stuff. I'm not crazy about it, so I usually have to, like, sometimes lift her off. But here she comes up on my lap. So, everyone say hi to Miss Kitty. But it is what it is with owning a cat, I will say that. And I'm used to it, so I kind of just, for the most part, don't really let that concern me too much anymore. But anyways, that's besides the point. But anyways, you can see the part over there, and the other box of parts over there, and so therefore I will be possibly maybe someday building that one too. But like I said, that little brown circuit board on the speaker that's broken, I've got a sneaking suspicion you wouldn't be able to just find that part. You'd be better off just finding a whole speaker. So that's what I'm going to do, obviously. And, of course, that speaker would go with it if somebody bought both of those radios, because I have them both. Whoops. Sorry. Just making sure my cat is okay. She kind of slid a little bit, but she's good. Again, say hi to Miss Kitty. Her pretty girl, Miss Kitty, say hi. Say hi, Miss Kitty. Hi. Yeah, you good girls. Yeah, you mama's good girls. Yes, you good baby. Yes, her is. She is a very good cat, by the way, YouTube folks. Been around here, if I have not mentioned it before. I believe I have. Actually, yeah, I have done a video on it about how she's been here since my grandfather especially loved her to pieces as much as I do, and she's very much a staple of this house. Very much loved in this house, and we would never dream of her ever leaving. She's very good. But anyways, yeah, as I was saying, I would most likely probably need to get a new speaker for that, because again, it would probably make more sense. But as I said, if somebody were to take it, the speaker would go with it, obviously. If there was a remote chance, you could just locate that one part and not the full speaker, and just solder the new part in, and the speaker be good. But that may happen as well. And then this little Lafayette radio right here will be featured in a fix-up, because I finally found out what, I believe I did a video on this, and that's why I'm mentioning it, and I finally found out what brand it is. Thank you to a forum on Reddit that I've since joined. It's the forum is called Radio Audio, and I really like that forum. They're really helpful people. If any of them see my videos, shout out to any of you that are a part of that forum that helped me with this. I'm very grateful. That one's definitely staying in my collection, I think, because I had debated giving it to a relative for their birthday as another birthday gift, but I may hang on to that for myself, only because the other relative has some appreciation for radios, and I believe that their son might too. But I've kind of really grown fond of that one, even though it's cool for what features it had back in the day, but it's not really much of a significance nowadays, because obviously the TV part of it is really kind of useless. Even though I swear that I had that working somewhat, but it would only pick up like maybe 2 stations, and one of them was a TV station playing a soap opera, and it sounded like Days of Our Lives soap opera. But anyways, I don't think it's really so. But yeah, thank you again for helping me discover what brand it is, and you'll also see future updates on this one. The case is not in very good condition, so I probably wouldn't even try to sell it anyways, even if it had some value, because the case has got some cracked plastic, and it just wouldn't be worth a lot of money, and not worth my time to try to sell it anyways, and to not make much money once I fixed it. And I just wouldn't feel okay with myself selling as beat up of a radio like this to somebody, even if I was able to get it working enough. Just because of that reason being the case. If I could find a better case and say the internals to that case weren't in the greatest shape and were a lot worse off than this, then I would probably do that and maybe consider selling it. But again, I don't want to sell somebody something that's completely beat up like this. Same with this one. That one I will do a video on. Is never going to be sold, and that's definitely going to stay in my collection. When I got it, the leather backing case was definitely beat up on that one, and I will do another video on that. I may have done a video already on that once, so if I did, I'll do another video. But I'll leave that one to the guessing. That one I've been trying to sell. I would take whatever for. I put a new cord on it. It's a General Electric. It's a mid-century modern. If somebody's interested in it, I would probably sell it to them really cheap, just because I want to see it go to another collector who has a space for it, and I don't really. So I was asking around $35 for that on Marketplace, but I would take whatever for that one, just because I don't have much money into it, and I think with the lot that I got, I more than made my money back when I traded for a television I wanted, and I don't know if I've done a video on it, and I will. And that TV is never leaving my collection, because I've searched for one of those forever for my own personal collection. But if anybody was in the Vermont area and was interested, please PM me on any of my social medias. Instagram, Facebook, I believe, are both linked to this account. It is Ellen Margaret Mayday on Facebook, for obvious reasons, and you'll recognize it. Margaret was the middle name of my grandmother, and Mayday was just something I picked up off a TV of a documentary about a vintage person who used Mayday in her name on a documentary, and that's where I'll leave it. If you've seen it, you've seen it. You might know. I just did that because obvious reasons, being trans and not being fully open. And also on my Facebook account, there is a picture of like a woman from an advertisement for a vintage 1950s dress, wearing the dress. And I think it was like a pattern advertisement. So what I'm saying is that's how you'd be able to find me on Facebook if you wanted to message me about that, which might be a better platform to reach me. But also on Instagram, and because those are my YouTube linked And I also have an X account that I don't really frequent as much anymore, for obvious reasons, being owned by Elon Musk. And of course I have a TikTok, which is under HazelWiccan32, only because TikTok would not let me use my preferred name, which is on here. So anyways, those are the places you can reach me. Like I said, X, I don't really use a whole bunch off and on. I haven't really linked my Reddit with my YouTube. I could do that if you wanted. But, yeah, mainly my Facebook and Instagram. If you want to message me about something like that radio. And like I said, make me an offer on it if you wanted it and you were in the Vermont area. And I would give you my address so you could come pick it up for whatever. I have all the parts to it. I know before I close this, even though it was meant for this to really be about this radio, and I kind of went off on other things, that cord that I soldered in and installed into that radio is actually out of a good working 8-track player. That the cord was of the same rate. I figured out the cord was the same rate, wattage type of cord that would work with that radio. So that cord is a slightly newer cord, but it's in really good shape. So I know it's a good cord. So you shouldn't have any trouble with that. The paper filter capacitor obviously needs to be deleted. That's a given, and I'm sure there's a few other things that could be deleted from that radio. I have not plugged it in yet since I put the new cord in to test it, but I had the bottom off. But I'm almost betting the paper filter capacitor is, if you look closely at it, it definitely needs to be replaced. So if you do get that radio factor in, that you'll need to do those things. So whatever you offer me, I'm probably most likely going to take it because I really need the space. This portable, I think I already did a video on, but I'll probably do another video on if I did, or even if I didn't, because obviously I'm going to get into this. I figured out it was a crystal diode, which was the problem on that one, and I may or may not keep this one because this one may be a gift to either of two relatives that I can think of that would appreciate that as like a next birthday gift for either one of them's birthdays. Just because I like to do that with family when I find something cool I think they would be into like that they could display in their collection. And yeah, I think it really instills other people in the hobby, and I didn't really pay that much for that radio. But who knows, maybe I'll hang on to it myself because I do kind of like that portable. If I were to sell that radio, I didn't pay a whole ton for the radio, but if I were to sell that radio, I would probably want at least $20 for it if I even considered selling it, only because I paid not a whole ton for it, but I paid $15 for that, so I would want at least 20 out of it. Minimum 15, just to make my money back if I was to sell that to anyone. But I don't think that's going to be leaving any time soon. So, yeah. And again, obviously those two. I'm that green case also, before I close out, even though I'm kind of going on a ranted tangent, because I sometimes do that as I'm thinking of things, is part of a 45 player that I will be selling. And hopefully I can get it going sometime soon. And if I do sell it, because I tried to sell it not working, and I was asking around $40 for it on Marketplace, but if I can get it working, I don't know, if I can get it working, and if any of you YouTuber folks are interested, and like I said, you want to private message me, once I'm able to get it working, I'll make an update video on it. Let me know, and because you're my YouTube subscribers, I would probably give it to you at a good deal. But again, it would have to be, if I didn't have, for one, if I didn't have a bunch of funds tied up into it, and two, it would have to be maximum 20 or minimum 15, depending on what I had into it, if I offer it up for a cheaper price to any of you YouTube folks, as long as I have not put, like I said, as long as I have not put a ton of money and parts at it, because it's not my labor, it's more so the money and parts. I want to make sure I get my money back, because I hate losing. I should say I don't really care to lose money, and I would like to make, is what I should say, I'd like to make my money back if I was to. But that one I think is going to be up for sale. That's a Zenith 45 player. I think it's one of the more common models, but still, it's pretty cool looking. But if, say, I weren't ever able to sell it, obviously I would still hang on to it and probably use it, but eventually. But I wouldn't mind selling it just to make space, because that's what I'm trying to do for every radio I bring in, make space and kind of clear out to move to make room for other things. And as I stated in my previous video, I'm probably not going to gather a whole bunch of radios anymore once I've found the main ones I want to keep. Just because of, like I said, it's really hard to move old radios now, because I feel, again, as I stated, a lot of the younger generation is losing interest in those old radios. And I don't want to be that person who's interested into these old radios and has so many of them, I get overwhelmed or end up leaving, you know, say if and when it's my time to leave this earth, leave the burden to my family members of having to deal with these bunches of radios that, granted, some could be serviced, maybe some are parts, but majority of them might be serviced, and say I was able to get them all running and I have them on a shelf, them having to find a way to liquidate all those if they don't want to keep them around, or they're taking up space, or they're not appreciated in the manner they feel they should be. So that's kind of where my premises of all of this is too, at the same token. And I know I'm only 32, but I really try to think about this stuff in the back of my mind, because I believe I've mentioned it in videos. For those of you who, not to alarm or concern you, I've had a few minor health scares, nothing major, and so therefore I'm just trying to keep all that stuff in the back of my mind as a forefront, just so I can. And I believe I have mentioned in videos the minor health scares I had. If not, I can kind of overview as much as I would want to share, maybe in another video. I'll state this before I close it out, about those health scares. They were nothing major, just minor health scares. Nothing I didn't get under control, but yes. So anyways, look for some future update videos probably. And again, like I said, maybe look for future update videos on these two, because if I can't offload them and I just end up keeping them, maybe someday I'll get a little further in. First this one, obviously, because it's all put together, but then maybe eventually that one. I will go through that as well and probably build that. And then maybe see if I can liquidate at least one of them, because I really don't need two of them, obviously. But if somebody wanted these, I would probably do a deal too. But I think I would have to at least get, for the pair, I think I'd have to at least get around 75, just because I've got 50 into this, $50 when I first bought this one, which is the one that I was fixing from parts from that one, which I paid, I believe, $30 for. And I think I would want, at least for the pair, whatever, at least around 75, 80, because I believe like 60, 70, yeah, 80. I would want at least $80 if I was going to sell both of these to you YouTube folks for the pair, because of that reason. Now, I would sell separately, and I may be swayed to sell parts off either one of these as well if you messaged me for what you would offer. But I would love to sell them both as a pair, the Transoceanics, that is, because I think it would just be better for me, because if I tried to sell parts of what I could, like, say, the tubes off of that one, and that's the only thing I can sell off of that second Transoceanic that's all pulled apart, I feel like then I would just be sitting stuck with these, and I would rather keep them as a whole than sell the parts off, unless I knew I could sell a whole bunch of parts from it, because of I wouldn't want to sit on it when I could have, instead of selling the parts that I sold off of it, I could have kept them because they were valuable parts that could have eventually made me build that. So that's the reasoning behind it. And that's why I would need around 75, 80, because I would, again, I would have to add up. Yeah, I believe 50 plus 30. Yeah, I believe that's 80. So I'd want 80 for both of those if I was to sell them as a pair, just because of that reason. But anyways, YouTube folks, I think this has gone on long enough, and I've now rambled enough. And so look for some future videos, and this is for the person that wants to see future videos on the radios that has specified that. You will be seeing it, especially on, I don't think I'm going to show that one yet. You kind of got a glimpse of it, but I believe I already did a video on it now that I think about it when I got it. But yeah, that one will be one of my personal collection. Also, you've seen videos on it. I keep saying this, but one other thing before I close out is a Victrola player that's been in my family since, I was told recently, since the 1920s. I thought it was older than that, but maybe it's because my grandfather never really remembered when it was. But it came from his childhood home. It's a family heirloom. It's never leaving my family, never leaving my possession. As long as I'm alive, it's going to be inherited by my family members and hopefully always be passed down to the generations. But I will be doing an update on that one if I ever get it to this place that's in southern Vermont that I want to, I forget where it is, and I forget the name of the business, but I've looked it up, and I got a quote for getting that restored. That's one I'm not going to do myself, and I'm going to have it done professionally because I really want it fixed up. And it's not going to get a full-on cosmetic fixing. There's a little decorative, like, embezzlement or embellishment that goes on the knobs, and one of them's missing. So I need to have that replaced. Also, the back, it's like a Luan veneer paneling is pretty bad shape, so I'm going to see if they can replace that on there and just do the bare minimum. And then inside of it, there's like a brass inserted tray that I misplaced somewhere, and who knows, I'll probably find it again. But that also needs to be replaced. That's missing where you could hold spare needles in it. And on the side, there's a cup for where the hand crank goes for it. That's supposed to be on there. That's missing. That they also said they would replace, and just do the mechanical service to make the record player function proper. The turntable part function properly again, and the needle head housing, get that refurbished so that way it'll play again. And so look for update videos on that one, because I want to see, because I plan on, once I get it working, doing an update so y'all can see it in working order. I have a bunch of spare needles for it. That one is, again, like I said, a very neat and very prized possession. And I can't wait to have it working again someday when I can afford to have that done. And I will have it done in my lifetime, because I want to leave it in good working order for my family so it's usable for them. I currently still have to search for 70 RPMs that will work for that era of Victrola for that, so I will be on the hunt for a bunch of those. And I really want to find some like old school some old time mountain folk country music of that era that would have been recorded, like maybe rare recordings of Appalachian folk music for that, because I'm more into like country and stuff. But anyways, YouTube folks, it is a little over 30 minutes in this video. I am going to sign off. I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked seeing this. I forget if I made a video on it, but I am now either way. Mainly in this video, even though I talked about other stuff. And so I will see you in the next video, and there will be updates on this. I will be changing the cord. This one will get a full service, and this one will be staying in my collection. Even though it's not a family heirloom and I picked it up, I really love this one. I've always wanted a Bakelite radio, and I know these can sometimes go for good money, especially in refurbished condition, but this one is not leaving my possession whatsoever, and it is staying because I have plans for this beauty. Especially if I have my own home someday, or a house dwelling in the way that I envision it. This is going to very much be a part of that future. Because obviously I'll always be into the antiquing, and you know, reselling items. But I will definitely be finding certain items that will never be resold, because they'll be furnishings for that place. And obviously all the family heirloom stuff that I would never sell anyways, that I have, that will also be furniture in that place. So, as always, keep your heads up, stay strong, all that kind of jazz. Have an excellent time, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video, YouTube folks. And as always, I want to mention this again. If you wouldn't mind liking, commenting, and subscribing to my videos. Again, I don't make it a emphasis that you do, because I'm not trying to make it big. I like the new subscribers I'm getting, and I'm very grateful. And I'm trying to subscribe to all your YouTube channels as well, just because I feel like if you subscribe to mine, I should subscribe to yours, because I want to give you the love and attention your YouTube channel needs. Even if you say you don't make any videos ever, and you're just one of those people who created a YouTube account to watch others, which I've observed, I still want to, in the event you ever did make videos, to show you some love and get you some views, because I think everyone who comes on YouTube who tries to do videos really deserves to get that love and that appreciation, to boost their channel and get it up, because I think everybody needs to get their channels moving and going if that's what they're going for. And I want to be a part of that process, of especially if somebody's trying to make a career out of YouTube in a certain way. Even if I'm not fully into, for say, what they're doing, I still want to show them some love with the little bit that I might be into of what they do, and help them along that process. And just by me liking, commenting, and subscribing. And so that's why I say it's not an emphasis for you to do that, because I'm not looking to make it big personally. But if you do, it's very greatly appreciated. And I don't want y'all to think it's not, because I want to let you know that it is. And if you hit that notification bell for full, half, or you just don't want any notification at all, that's fine. And as you know, the right constructive criticism of comments, I'm always open to. You know, if it helps me better my channel in the way you would want to see it as viewers of my channel. And as always, sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows. And I will see you in the next video.